Sometimes the best move in a losing position is not to win. It is to never let your opponent stop answering your checks. Today we are looking at Perpetual Check, the tactic that can turn a completely lost game into a draw. And later in the episode, you will see a world champion sacrifice his queen, not to win the game, but to force repetition. Let's start with position 1. Position 1, it's white to play, and materially the position is equal. But positionally, black king might be in trouble because there are so many pieces around the black king. In this position, short played knight f7 check, so king has to move, king h7, and now queen e7. He's threatening so many discovered checks from the queen, and at the same time, the bishop is hanging as well. And Kasparov ignored everything and played queen takes g2, and that's a blunder. Now short is completely winning, but unfortunately he missed a chance to win against Garry Kasparov. He should continue the game with bishop d4. Simple. The whole point is he is controlling the g1 square, and if required, the queen can go back and defend some checks. So the game might continue after bishop d4. There's a queen f1 check, king d2, queen g2 check, king c3, queen c6 check, king b4, and that's it. No more checks, and white is completely winning. But unfortunately, short did not find bishop d4, but after queen g2, he played bishop e5. It looks similar, but unfortunately, it's not. And the whole point is now short has cut off the queen, and queen cannot go back to defend the king. And now the game is draw. So Garry played queen f1 check, and after king d2, there's a queen f2 check, and here white can easily blunder the game. If you try to go back on c1, that's checkmate on e1. Game over. So that is why short has to play king d3, just going up on the board, and now there is no way for short to save his king, and Garry will keep giving checks and the game would be draw. So in the game, he tried queen f3 check, king d2, queen f2 check, and here they both agreed to a draw. White cannot escape the checks. Kasparov survives by perpetual checks. This came from Nigel short versus Garry Kasparov from PCA World Championship London 1993. This is the pattern we are studying today. Hello everyone, I'm Aniket, an Arena International Master, and this is Chess Tactics episode 25. Today's pattern is Perpetual Check. Perpetual Check happens when one player keeps giving checks again and again, and the opponent cannot escape without repeating the position. Even if you are completely losing, Perpetual Check can save the game by force. Let's understand it better with a simple example. White is completely winning materially. Queen and two rooks against only a queen. And black king is also in trouble. But black's queen has two checking squares, which is enough to hold a draw. And black played queen e3 check, sacrificing a queen. And the point is, if queen takes on e3, the game ended in a stalemate. The king has no move and the game is draw. So that is why he cannot take the queen. So he might move the king, let's say to f1, and now he lost a queen and two rooks against queen, it's equal. And now if white wants, he can force a perpetual by playing rook a2, king b7, rook b2 again, king goes back on a8 or a7, and the game would be simple draw. If you enjoy practical chess tactics, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's test this idea in 5 more real game positions. Position 2, it's white to play. This is one of the cleanest modern examples because white does not play for material. White sacrifices pieces only to force a black king into a checking loop. Find the move that forces perpetual check. Pause the video here. This came from Ding Liren versus Gukesh from Sinquefield Cup 2024. And here, if we analyze the position, Gukesh is having some advantage because this pawn on d3 is very strong and it is super close to make a queen. So that is why what Ding Liren did, he simply forced perpetual check, which after that the game ended as a draw. And he started the game with bishop takes g6. And now there's checkmate coming on h7 if Gukesh don't accept that. So Gukesh has to accept it. So he played f takes g6 and now rook takes g6 as well, sacrificing the another piece. So again the same idea, he has to take it. So h takes g6 and now queen takes g6 check. The queen enters and black's king has no clean escape. So king h8, queen h6 check, king g8, queen g6 check, king h8, queen h6 check, king g8, queen g6 check. And black cannot avoid the repetition. This is enough for a draw. Just to add on here, There's a rule in chess: if you got the same position thrice in one game, the game ended as a draw. And that is why they repeat the move 3 times and the game was draw. That was a direct sacrifice for check's pattern. But in the next one, the queen itself disappears. Now let's go to the next one. Position 3, it's black to play. This position works because the whole move looks impossible. Black gives up the queen, but the move order creates a forced repetition. This came from Anish Giri versus Ding Liren from Sinquefield Cup 2024. And here in this position, Ding played queen takes h4, simply sacrificing the queen. And after knight takes h4, now comes the real point. And the move was knight takes f2. And don't forget about the bishop, who is protecting the knight. And knight is attacking the queen as well. So he has to save the queen. So queen f3. Now Ding simply forced a perpetual when the game ended as a draw. And he played knight h3, just giving a double check. And whenever the double check lands, king has to move king h1, knight f2 check, king g1, knight h3 check, king h1, knight f2 check, king g1, knight h3 check. As they repeated the move 3 times, the game ended as a draw. White cannot improve the position, so the repetition is forced. The lesson is simple. Sacrifice does not always need to win. Sometimes it only needs to force repetition. Now, let's go to the next one. Position 4, it's black to play. This example is less flashy, but very practical. It shows that perpetual check is not only a middle game attacking trick, it can also save you from the difficult queen endings. This came from Ding Liren versus Magnus Carlsen from Norway Chess Armageddon 2024. So this was an Armageddon match. So what happens here is, in this type of games, black just needs a draw to claim a win and white has to win if he wants to win that round. But unfortunately, Magnus was black and now he just needs a draw to win the game. So what Magnus did in this was queen d3 check, king b2, queen d2 check, king b1, queen d1 check, king b2, queen d2 check, king b1, and here they agreed to draw the game because black keeps the white king boxed in and the position repeats. There's no sacrifice here. There's no long combination. Black simply finds the correct checking squares and white's king cannot run away. If the king has no shelter, repeated checks can save the game. But the hardest one is next because the perpetual does not exist yet. Black has to create it. Now, let's move to the next one. Position 5, it's black to play. This one is harder because the first move is not direct queen check. Black first has to remove the defender, open the king, and then only force a perpetual. Find the move that saves black by force. Pause the video here. This came from Magnus Carlsen versus Hikaru Nakamura from chess.com Blindfold 2026. So in this game, both of them were just blindfolded. But still, Hikaru did not miss the perpetual check idea because Magnus is completely winning if Hikaru does not force a perpetual check because he has an extra pawn and black's pawn is in danger already. So that is why Hikaru has to force a draw. Otherwise, he's gonna lose. So let's see how he made a draw. So he played bishop takes e3. He is simply sacrificing the bishop. So after fe3, he did not go for e3 right away and he played rook takes d5. Second sacrifice. So after rook takes d5, now the king is not safe and now the game is just draw. And he started with queen takes e3 check, king g2, queen e4 check, king f2, and Hikaru can't even take the rook because the other rook will hang. So it doesn't make any sense. So queen e3 check, king g2, queen e4 check, king h3, queen e6 check, g4, queen e3 check, king g2, queen e4 check, king g3, queen e3 check, king g2, e4 check, king g3, and here they agreed for draw. And white cannot escape the repetition. Here, the perpetual check does not appear immediately. Black first sacrifices material to create it. That's why this is the hardest pure perpetual check example in the episode. Now, for final one, we will look at a warning version of the same idea. This one is not a pure perpetual check, but the concept is very similar. Now, let's go to the final position. Final position, it's black to play. This is not a pure perpetual check example, but this is a perpetual attack. Instead of checking the king again and again, black attacks the queen again and again, forcing repetition. This came from Kramnik versus Anand from Mainz Champions Duel 2001. And in this position, Vichy played knight e4 attacking the queen, and also offering a trade of the queens. But Kramnik don't want to trade the queens, and he played queen g4 attacking the knight, and now Fishy simply goes back with knight f6 attacking the queen again, queen g5, knight e4, queen g4, knight f6. And here both players agreed to a draw. The final point is perpetual does not always mean checks. Sometimes repeated attacks on a valuable piece can also force the opponent into a draw. The practical lesson is if your opponent cannot improve and must keep repeating, the game can end in a draw even without direct king checks. So that's Perpetual Check. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for more practical chess tactics and comment which position was the hardest and tell me what move you found before I revealed it. I will see you in the next one.